Good evening. I'm Siwa Pili Rose Amador Lebeau, and this is Native Voice TV. Welcome to the show. Well, I am wearing a Sock-ee-ess-ta-wah original. Can you see it? Don't I look great? And with us today is Wendell Sakiestewa.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It was such a pleasure meeting you the other day. You're here from Southern California, Los Angeles area?
Yes, I am.
And he's a clothing designer, and you have the most beautiful clothes. I just fell in love with your line of clothes.
Thank you.
Give me a little bit about your background. Where are you from?
I am Hopi Native American Indian. My father is from Second Mesa. He is a well-known native jeweler. His name is Michael Kabodi, and my mother's side is from Mankopi, Tuba City area. So that's where my family originates from. And I've never actually lived on the reservation as a child. Mm-hmm. I think when I was born, we had come to Phoenix, and that's where I grew up, in Phoenix, Arizona.
Excellent. Now, have you always used the native influence for your line of clothing?
Yes. It originated from my father. After seeing him doing his jewelry, his art that he has done over many, many years, it inspired me. I had always done different types of art, I guess you could say, growing up: ceramics, beading, painting, drawing, things of that nature. And so growing up, I remember telling my grandmother, when we were really young, I was really, really young, and my grandmother raised me. And she was a pattern maker and seamstress, and that's where my abilities came from. And so I remember telling her, I'm going to go to LA, I'm going to be a designer, and then blah, 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 dreaming, of course, at that age. But she, it more stemmed from my father and seeing a lot of his art, seeing a lot of the color that he used and the techniques that he used in his artistry. And that's how it got started. And it brought my family, actually my father and my brothers, full circle. And we were kind of distant at one point, and it kind of brought us together.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so it did have kind of a happy ending to it, I guess you could say. Yeah.
And you've designed all kinds of clothes. You said you started with making bathing suits, was it? Or
yeah,
swimsuits?
I was really young, really, really green, and I grew up in Phoenix, and I had moved into Scottsdale area, and I started off, I just saw an ad that had come out for a swimwear line, and they needed help, like an assistance type thing. They said they would actually train. So I thought, okay, well, I'll apply for it. Because I did like clothing, and I did like the aspect of designing and doing all that. So I applied for it, and I got the job, and I started off doing swimwear. Yeah.
Now, you told me when you went to school, to clothing school,
Yes.
you had to design something with T-shirts, or how was that? Tank tops, or?
At the time, we were given a project. What it was is they wanted us to purchase men's T-shirts come in like 3 in a package, and they wanted us to buy 2 packages. They said we could do anything we wanted. We could dye it, cut it up, do whatever we want, but we had to create 3 actual pieces, a starting of a clothing line, and we could do whatever we wanted to do with it. Be as creative as we wanted to do with it. We had to sketch it. We had to, of course, make the pattern and sew with it also and create the whole garment. So they actually gave us 2 weeks to work on it. And so what I did is I actually I cut it up, I dyed the fabric black, and I made a long sleeve men's hoodie. I did an actual small short out of it, and like a zip front short, because you only have so much fabric. So you try to be as creative and try to do like a top and a bottom. And I also did like a tank top made out of it, and it was a different tank top for a man. So that was one of the projects that we were given, and it actually turned out really nice.
And that was a project once you were in, or to get into the school?
No, that was actually when I was already in, and I was probably about halfway in about a quarter into the semester. When you go into fashion, they really push you, and I mean, it's boom, boom, boom. You know, they give you, okay, you do this, you got to do this many drawings, you got to be able to create this storyboard, you got to be able to pull these fabrics. I mean, it's really, you know, it's one right after another, and they push you. That's how the fabric, I mean, that's how the design industry is.
And you live near Hollywood, obviously, if you live in Los Angeles. So
well, originally I did live when I first moved there, I lived in the Hollywood Hills.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and I had moved several times after that just because it was too much. I mean, when I first moved there, I didn't have a car, so I was on the bus like the first year, I think it was, and it just, you know, you're going up into the Hollywood Hills and you're like literally walking uphill. And, you know, it was just got to be a little bit much, so I moved further out just to, you know, I think it's just more of a balance of peace of mind, because Los Angeles can be a little crazy.
I
so,
bet.
Yeah. But now I lived in LA for about 15 years, and I just moved to San Diego, so I've been there about 3 years now.
Oh, okay.
And I love San Diego.
Do you? Oh,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. I do too.
Yeah. Very clean, very nice.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
I love the weather.
Yeah.
So now you've worked with movie stars, actors,
yes.
and the whole industry. Tell me about that.
When I first got started, I actually started with Smokey Robinson, of all people. And actually me and his daughter Tamala Robinson were friends. She had an idea of a children's clothing line. And a lot of it was inspired from her daughter. And how the name came about, the logo, BornStar, was Smokey used to say, I think it was like all children are born stars. And so that's kind of like how we took his tagline and created BornStar. And that was in 2000.
So she designed too?
No, she actually gave me input into regards to, she did her research in regards to what type of clothing she wanted and age range. So from that point, we put together sketches, fabrications, and things of that nature, and built a line from them. And it actually got a really great response. I think a lot of it too was because of the name and you know where it came from and things of that nature. And immediately we were in Fred Siegel's. You know, we hit like the big stores, and we got write-ups in Earnshaw's Children's, you know, which is their really big fashion magazine, and it was great. It was really great. It was a really great experience to work with him. He's a very, very spiritual man and such a kind heart.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
how exciting.
Yeah.
And have you worked with other famous people that we might know?
Yeah, from that, when I went to work with Snoop Dogg, and with him, I actually met his manager. Well, it was kind of like a business partner, not really a manager, it was more like a business partner. And I worked with started off working with him, and the inspiration came from Snoop Dogg. And the line was called Motivate. So, you know, the tagline, because Snoop Dogg is, you know, at the time was such a marijuana smoker. The tag, you know, the name was M-O-T-A, Motivate. So that's how it was spelled. Yeah, so that's what it was.
A play
and that's
on
how,
words.
a play on words. And we created, it was more of an urban streetwear line. So, you know, we started with a lot of plaids, you know, things of that nature, kind of sportswear, the baggy shorts, you know, it was back in that time also. It was like 2000, 2001 to 2002. So it actually got a really good response, really, really good response. It was really nice.
Wow.
Very, very nice, yeah.
And when you do lines like that, do they sell them in the exclusive shops? And
Yeah, those, for them specifically, we were getting them ready for trade shows, which is called the Magic trade show in Vegas. And so it comes twice a year, and they set up booths there, and they sell to the public wholesale, you know, and the people come in, order it, things of that nature, so yeah.
Huh. So when they have the fashion shows, is it as crazy as, I've only seen on TV, of course, but is it as crazy behind the scenes as you normally see on TV?
It can be, and most of the time it depends on how big it is. If it's pretty big and you got you know, people coming back to back and the lines that are coming out, yeah, it can be very, very hectic. You know,
And you've done that.
Yeah.
You work with the models. And
yeah,
so forth.
and it can be, because you got to be on point. You have to be organized. You have to have everything ready. Everything has to be, you know, pressed. Everything has to be right length. You know, makeup has to be done. Hair has to be done. So it's more or less, you just have to be on point, you know, and it just has to look great. Bottom line.
And the line that's behind you, I'm just admiring it. They tell me, stop looking at the clothes, but tell me about the clothes that are behind you. They are beautiful.
Okay, the clothing that's behind me is a new clothing line. It's actually not on my website as of yet, but what I'm getting it ready for is a Santa Fe Fashion Week.
Okay.
And it's coming in October 23rd to the 26th at the Buffalo Thunder Resort in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And I'm creating a new clothing line under the Hopi logo. And so right now, what I have what's behind me is I have two shirts. One is the black and one is the rust. And they're my version of, well, in the Native culture, you have ribbon shirts, which are for ceremonial purposes, things of that nature, powwows. And what I did with it, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love, you know, traditional and things of that nature, but I just didn't like the look of it. Some of them have, you know, the ribbons hanging off, and it's hard to wash. You always hear like feedback from people coming in saying, especially the men that wear them, when they wash them, it always gets all tangled up, you know, and they have to press it, and so you got a lot of work to do with it.
And then
you know,
the
take care
cleaners
of it.
won't even take them.
Exactly.
They say, nope.
So what I did is I went ahead and made sure that everything was sewn down, you know, and I just gave it a new look, and I kind of urbanized it, you know, brought it to more contemporary, stylish of it, and, you know, I brought it up to date. And so that's what I did with the rust colored and the black colored. And
I really, really like them. Both the men's and the women's clothes. They're just so unique.
I also did, you know, a color blocking, what is really in right now. I used the print versus the actual, you know, color, a solid color, and then kind of did a touch of the ribbon in another contrast color, and it looks really great.
It does, and I even like the little touch on the back where you have the ribbon and the button.
Oh, the detail on the back of the
really
neck,
nice.
yes,
Very,
it's
very
all in the
nice.
detail, yes.
And your women's line?
The women's, I have, right now what you're seeing is the turquoise colored and the rust colored poncho. And it's a V-neck, and it's about, they're a little bit oversized because, you know, it's all in that baggy look, you know, you want to feel comfortable, the weight of it, the fabric, it's very nice. It's a poly, it has a little poly cotton mixture in it with a little bit of lycra. So it's a very fine, there's also a rayon mixture with a little bit of lycra in there as well. So the print on it is more of I took it from an actual rug print, you know, and I've heard people say that it's called like a native, in the Navajos, it's like a Spider Woman type print. I'm not exactly sure what it was. And that wasn't where I was actually referencing it to when I designed it, when I actually designed the print and actually started printing it. It's just the way it came out. So, you know, I liked a lot of the symbolisms that, you know, the clothing carries. And it's a lot of the sacred symbolisms that I really strive to, and the color and how it works with the actual pattern versus the actual fabric. And yeah.
Very striking. And as I said, I have an original one. The material's very comfortable.
Yes.
You know, I normally wouldn't wear long sleeves in the summertime because it's so hot, but it's very cool material.
Yes.
So it could be worn in any season.
Right. What you're wearing is actually, it's a 3/4 bell sleeve that's flared at the bottom. So yeah, so that's I didn't want to make, at first it was a long sleeve, and then I edited it and brought it up 3/4 and then brought this to, yeah. So you can actually see it.
Can you see?
So
I'm going to
that's
fly
great.
away. I'm an angel.
And I actually, with the print, what I did is a lot of women like that contoured look. So what I did is I actually color blocked it on the sides. So when you're looking at it, it gives you that streamlined look, so it makes it look really nice.
I like that. No, of course I like that. I said, I'll just blend into the background and they'll think it's the part of the chair and this is me down here. That's the illusion, right?
There you go. That's it.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because, some of us are fluffy. And so
Well, it's all about the color too. I really love, the hot pinks, the coral color and the blues and and I really love that. It looks very, very striking.
Of course, I liked it.
Yeah.
I was really, really taken by your line because you can't find anything like that, anything close to that.
No, it's different, and it does get good reviews. When I first came out with the very, very first line that I did, that's on the website, hopiewensacks.com, it got great reviews. Immediately, I had done a fashion show in Phoenix up in Scottsdale, and one of the newscasters from there, Mary Kim Titla, she actually was the MC there, and she immediately approached me after that and asked me to do an interview on her station within the next couple days, and the same thing. And so I said, okay. I said, yeah, I'll be there. So luckily I was already in Phoenix, and I ended up staying there, and it worked out really nicely.
Like you ended up staying up here in Northern California.
Yeah.
Come on the show.
Exactly.
And I'm so glad you did. Thank you. Because, you see native designs and prints, but usually T-shirts.
Right.
And only T-shirts. And after seeing your line, how beautiful it was, and then I went to your website and saw that it was completely different because you didn't have these on there, and I was just so impressed with all of your designs that you have.
Well, originally I've already shot these, in terms of a photo shoot, but I haven't put them on there because what I'm actually getting ready to do is open up my boutique in San Diego. So what I'm going to do is it's going to be under Yellow Blossom Boutique. Yellow Blossom is the meaning in English. Sock-ee-ess-ta-wah is the meaning of yellow blossom. It's yellow blossom. So it's going to be at the Yellow Blossom Boutique, and so you'll be able to view everything there. And I'm working on that now. So it's just it's not ready to go.
And when is the boutique opening?
Right now I have 3 different locations that I'm looking at. I haven't really pinned them down yet because of course it's coming to square footage and the best deals that they're willing to give me. And so we're working on that right now. And so my plan of attack is August, September, the end of, right in there.
So is it going to be in the downtown area, or have you decided
one of them
that?
2 of them right now are in the Gas Lamp.
Yes.
In San Diego, so very touristy.
Right.
It's actually a very good place to have it. One of them is just a little bit further out, and in this really cool little area. I forgot what the name of it was, but it's so cultural, and it may end up being there because that's the best. When I walked in there, it was just about feeling. It's about the energy that's around there. I mean, it would be great to really have it in downtown San Diego, but it's just, it's really, with me, it's energy, it's that spiritualness, it's that connection of where you envision it to be and where it can grow. So that's where I really want it. I'm still choosing right now, but I'm kind of leaning towards that. So yeah.
Have you ever considered going on like the what's the TV show, the
Project Runway?
Project Runway. I always forget the name. Yes.
Actually, I was in 2004. I was supposed to go on season 3, and I signed up and I auditioned, and I got my foot in the door. But I had already designed. At that time, I'd already started working for Fernando Vargas, the boxer, and we were about to go to the trade show again in Vegas. And I was already done with the line. It was priced. It was ready to go. But they still needed me to be there. And most of the time the designers are there. And I thought, okay, well, I can take a break and go and shoot and then come back. But his lawyer wouldn't release me to do that. So I was gonna do it anyways, as strong-headed as I am, and was gonna say, okay, well, look, I wanna do this. I'm gonna go for it. And it was my, foot in the door type thing where I can actually just do it. And so they kind of said, no, you're going to get sued if you do that. You have to be there. You're under contract, blah, blah, blah. Right. So I had to. I couldn't do it. And so, but it turned out to be actually pretty good anyways, because I ended up working him for 4 years, and they kept me on for 4 years, up to about the end of 2008. So
Now, I was reading your bio, and an outfit could be $15,000. One outfit, huh? I was like, wow.
well, with that, okay, at that time when the bio was written, I was working for a men designer in Beverly Hills, and the company was under Scott Hill at the time. And we used to, I mean, he had all name brands there. He had his own there. We had Donna Karan, we had Calvin Klein, Versace. God, we had everybody come in there. Rod Stewart, all these really big people. And, you know, some of that clothing was marked up to be that high, or it could be a pants, 2 pants, 2 shirts. It could be a sport coat. It could be a sport coat and a pant. It could be shoes that kind of accumulated up to that price.
So would the stars come into the stores, or did you go to them?
No, they would come into the stores. In the beginning, when I first started there, majority of them would come into the store because we were right there by the Ivy, and we were actually literally across the street from the Ivy, and that's where all the stars come and they would eat. When you would see it like on TMZ or something like that, they'd always be shooting them at the Ivy, you know, coming in and out of the Ivy, you know, lunchtime or whatever. And because the Ivy had like an outside type of
like a deck
place,
or
where you could
something,
eat, you know, outside and inside. And so they would always come from there and come into the store. And God, we had everybody. I mean, literally everybody that you can think of. You know, TV series, sitcoms, you know, musicians, actors. Everybody came in there.
It was a place to be.
Yeah, it was very, but it was very, very cool. Yeah, it was like a gallery.
Oh, really?
A very cool gallery. Yeah.
So would they wear size like 00s and stuff?
Yeah, and
They're
yes
pretty
and no.
tiny.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. It really depends. I mean, we did a lot of menswear, and we did a lot. He did more menswear than he did women's wear.
Okay.
So we started getting into women's wear a little bit more later on, you know, like a couple of years down. But we had a lot of the men come through there. And their wives come in. A lot of the wives came in buying for them. We had a lot of the models coming in buying for their husbands, you know, their boyfriends, things like that. So yeah.
But it seems like a lot of the men on television are small too. Well, maybe like a lot of the reporters and so forth, and even some of the actors.
Yeah, they are.
When you see them in person, they're a lot smaller.
They
They're
are
petite.
like God. They're probably, I would say, like 5'9".
Yes, I
Some of
noticed
them
that,
are
yeah.
like 5'7". You know.
Yeah.
And the camera, you know, it makes you look smaller. But I mean, you know, I mean, you can't really judge it on camera when you're watching a television. You know, some of them are very small, short.
The only thing I've ever been to is the Alma Awards. Have you gone to any of those?
No, I have not. I've actually had a chance to go do that, but I just never have. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to several of those that the National Council of also put on. And that's where I got to see a lot of the actors. I thought, they're really tiny.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
the
exactly.
Mario and all, they're really tiny.
They are tiny, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even like some of the actors that I know that worked on the Twilight series, a lot of them were like, God, like 5'7", 5'8", 5'9". Yeah.
Oh, wow, like Benjamin Bratt's tall.
Yeah, he's tall. Yeah, he's probably what, I think 5'11", probably.
Nice,
Yeah,
taller.
somewhere in there. Yeah.
Nice tall thin guy. Well, it's so exciting to have you on here, and I wish you a lot of success, and I know you will have it with your boutique.
Yes.
I definitely want to go down and visit in San Diego.
Yeah, it should be, you know, majority of the stuff, I have 70% of everything ready. It's just a matter of finalizing, you know, the space, the dates, and just getting it all, pulling it all together. So, yeah.
And what kind of clothing will you have like this?
I will
type of-
have my clothing line there, of course. I wish that could be the only thing in there, but it will not, you know. I'm going to be holding other brands in there as well. I'm going to do the pottery. I'm going to do jewelry, of course, because you have to have the accessories, probably purses. You know, I'm still working on building the accessory part of it. So I want to round it. So you cannot, I mean, that way you can go in there and you don't only purchase clothing. You can buy a bracelet with it, a nice bracelet, a nice necklace with it, you know, something, a handbag or whatever. Yeah.
Then will the theme be a native overall? I mean, like, would the jewelry be native
Yeah,
jewelry?
I think I'm
or-
going to start it off that way, and but I want to really open it up to everybody. I want it to have a broad range, so I may be able to bring like Western wear into it as well, you know, and kind of bring it up to that cowboys and Indians type thing, you know, theme. But yeah.
Well, I have seen in some of the catalogs where they have both the native and then the kind of the Western
Yes. Yes.
theme in it as well, you know, with the hats and the boots
Right,
and
right.
the so forth. Because a lot of things that where you wear the long skirts, you would wear the boots with.
Yeah, I'm actually putting together now also another skirt line that actually I worked on a while back. I just never brought it out, but I'm revamping it. I guess you could say I'm going to put more accessories onto it, jeweled. I'm going to kind of jewel it, you know, here and there, and studs and things of that nature, and kind of really pop it out. Plus prints, things of that nature. So I'm working on that, and you're going to probably be able to see that on the runway.
Oh, how exciting.
Yeah, in Santa Fe.
Okay, and that's going to be when? In October?
It's going to be October 23rd and 23rd through the 26th, 2013. It's going to be at the Buffalo Thunder Resort, and I will be on stage on the 26th, and I think that's that Saturday. I think that's a Saturday if I'm correct, but we are going to have one of the people there. It's not confirmed yet, but they're in talks with her, Patricia Michaels, who's on the project. She was one of the finalists.
The two finalists, right?
Yeah, and she didn't win, but she got to the very end. And they're in talks with her right now to bring her on to share the runway with us as we do this. So we're still, but it's not confirmed yet, but we're pretty sure she's going to be there.
How exciting. I'll have to
Yes.
plan my next trip. I go to Albuquerque pretty often, so at least
Okay.
every couple of months to see my mom,
And
so I'll
you-
try and go then.
Okay, and you can also get updates on SantaFeFashionWeek.com.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can go there.
Thank you so much for staying in town to come on the show.
No problem.
It was such a pleasure to meet you, and we look forward to big things from you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Like us on Facebook. We'll see you again next week. Good night.
Indigenous soul, indigenous soul.